Have you ever felt a deep sense of loneliness after retirement and thought that visiting old friends might be the cure? Many people believe that rekindling past friendships will fill the emotional gap that retirement often brings, but the reality is not so simple. What if I told you that visiting friends when you feel lonely might actually make things worse? In this video, we'll explore 5 surprising reasons why you should think twice before relying on old friendships to ease post-retirement loneliness. From the changing nature of relationships to the hidden risks of emotional dependence, each reason reveals why seeking comfort in familiar faces may not be the solution you think it is. Instead, we'll uncover a wiser, healthier approach. Number 1, friendships change after retirement. Retirement often arrives like a gentle change in the breeze, a time when many of us suddenly have an abundance of time and perhaps, unexpectedly, a lingering feeling of loneliness. Many decades we built our friendships around the rhythm of our daily lives, meeting at work, sharing lunches, or gathering on weekends. These routines naturally tied us together. However, after retirement, the landscape shifts. Our schedules become empty canvases, and the old dynamics that once sustained our relationships can start to fade. As we navigate this new chapter, many of us also discover depths of creativity and strength that reshape our outlook. Take, for instance, the story of John, a sprightly 72-year-old who recently retired after a long career. John had always relied on the predictability of his daily interactions to keep him company. When he attempted to reconnect with his former colleagues, he was surprised to learn that many had moved on to new adventures. Some were traveling the world, others were spending more time with their grandchildren, and a few had simply focused on personal hobbies that kept their minds and hearts busy. John, who had expected things to be just as they were in the past, instead felt a pang of isolation. It was as though he had stepped into a room filled with familiar faces that no longer understood the language of his heart. John realized that while familiar faces evoked cherished memories, they also revealed the changes that occur in how we grow. This change in relationship dynamics reminds us of the life lessons from the elderly, that change is the only constant. We learn that each friendship, like a fine wine, evolves over time. Sometimes, the connection that once seemed unbreakable softens with time and distance. These evolving experiences teach us that nurturing our connections with care and understanding leads to a rewarding journey through life. Think back to a time when a friend you once knew well changed in unexpected ways. How did you feel? And what new connections did you eventually make? Number 2, you might be seeking comfort in the wrong place. When loneliness knocks on our doors after retirement, it's only natural to seek refuge in the familiar, old friends and past routines that once gave us a sense of belonging. However, what many of us overlook is that the heart's longing isn't merely for company. Sometimes, it yearns for a renewed sense of purpose and direction. In these quiet moments, we search for deeper meaning, yearning to rediscover passions that enlighten our soul, guiding us onward. Consider Martha, a bright and caring 68-year-old who found that simply calling or visiting her old friends wasn't enough to soothe the emptiness she felt. Martha loved the comfort of reminiscing about days gone by, yet she couldn't shake the feeling of an unfilled void. It wasn't until she discovered a local animal shelter that her life began to sparkle anew. Volunteering there didn't just provide her with regular company, it gave her a purpose. She learned that every wagging tail and grateful glance was a reminder of the difference she could make in the world. Martha's journey was one of self-discovery, underlining that sometimes our true comfort is found not in the mirrored images of our past, but in forging new pathways for ourselves. Her heart blossomed with the realization that every act of kindness enriched her days, opening avenues for joy and self-renewal. In exploring these ideas, we encounter another piece of the life lessons from the elderly, Our dear seniors remind us that life is about growth and evolving beyond what once defined us. When we fill our lives with activities that nurture our inner selves, we create a deeper sense of fulfillment. Their profound experiences encourage us to embrace change with gratitude, learning to celebrate every new dawn as a precious opportunity. If you're still here with me, type 2 in the comments to let me know you're finding this information helpful. Number 3, constantly visiting can lead to social imbalance. Friendships are like a dance, an elegant interplay where both partners need to take turns to lead. But what happens when one partner is always leading, always reaching out, always taking the first step? Many of us, especially after retirement, find ourselves in the position of trying desperately to keep connections alive, only to be met with lukewarm responses. In our later years, the subtle rhythms of giving and receiving become vital, emphasizing that mutual effort creates harmony and understanding in our relationships, gently nurturing our souls. Let's talk about Richard, a thoughtful 70-year-old retiree known for his unwavering loyalty to his friends. Richard made it a habit to call, visit, and even drop by unannounced, hoping that his efforts would rekindle the warmth of old companionship. Yet, over time, he noticed a recurring pattern. His friends rarely reached out or returned his efforts. That imbalance made him question whether his love and care were truly reciprocated. Rather than being a mutual exchange, the interactions began to feel like a one-sided duty, leaving him emotionally worn out. Despite his relentless kindness, each unreturned call or unreciprocated visit deepened his sense of isolation and cast doubt on the sincerity of his cherished bonds. It's in these moments that we appreciate more life lessons from the elderly. With years of experience under their belts, many older adults have learned that true friendship is a two-way street. They remind us that being appreciated isn't about the frequency of visits or the number of calls, but about genuine care and heartfelt reciprocity. These simple truths, shared through years of wisdom, encourage us to nurture relationships where both sides feel valued, understood, and emotionally enriched. Can you remember a time when you felt you were giving more in a relationship than you were receiving? What small change made a difference in balancing that relationship? Number 4, over-reliance on friends can hinder personal growth. In the comforting arms of old friends, we often find solace and familiarity. But sometimes, that very comfort can hold us back from exploring new horizons and experiencing personal growth. Retirement, after all, is not just an end, it's also a beginning. A chance to reinvent ourselves and discover untapped passions. In this reflective phase, we sometimes cling to what we know, yet deep down our hearts yearn for fresh experiences and uncharted adventures that breathe new life into our daily routines. Barbara, a spirited 74-year-old widow, spent years nurturing old friendships, clinging to the routines that were once the anchors of her daily life. Though these friendships were cherished, Barbara slowly began to notice they also confined her, keeping her from trying out new activities or meeting new people. Every time she laughed about the past with a longtime friend, a small voice inside reminded her of the opportunities she was missing: classes, travel, new hobbies, and fresh relationships. As time passed, she recognized that holding on to old memories sometimes blocked the doorway to innovative pursuits, leaving her with the bittersweet realization that comfort could also be a gentle barrier to personal exploration. Reflecting on the life lessons from the elderly, we see that growth is often about stepping out of our comfort zones. Many seniors find that embracing change, even when it feels daunting, opens the door to delightful surprises. Barbara's story is a testament to the fact that while cherishing the past is important, enriching our future by seeking. Number 5, unbalanced friendships can drain your energy. Friendships are meant to bring joy, connection, and mutual support, but if you find yourself constantly visiting friends who no longer match your energy, values, or lifestyle, these interactions can actually drain you rather than uplift you. Sometimes we keep friendships alive out of obligation even when they no longer feel fulfilling. As we get older, our time and emotional energy become more valuable than ever. Consider this. Have you ever spent time with someone and left feeling more exhausted than energized? Maybe the conversation felt forced, or maybe you were doing all the emotional labor while they contributed little in return. That's not a true friendship, it's a one-sided transaction. The more you engage in these kinds of interactions, the more you might feel emotionally drained rather than recharged. Take Thomas, for example. At 76, he prided himself on being a loyal friend. He made regular visits to old acquaintances, always checking in and making sure they were doing okay. But over time, he started noticing that these visits weren't making him happy. Some friends only wanted to complain, others never asked how he was doing, and a few seemed indifferent to his presence altogether. Instead of feeling connected, he left those visits feeling tired, frustrated, and even lonelier than before. The truth is, your time is precious. If you're constantly visiting friends who leave you feeling drained, it's time to ask yourself whether this friendship is truly benefiting you or if you're just holding on out of habit. Real friendships should leave you feeling valued, understood, and uplifted. If they don't, it's perfectly okay to step back and invest your energy in relationships that bring positivity into your life. Think of a time when spending time with someone left you feeling more tired than happy. How did you find the strength to adjust your relationships, or what changes did you make after that realization? Final thoughts. My dear friends, if you've stayed with me this far, please take a quiet moment to reflect on our thoughts today. We all know that our friendships are precious, but they should never come at the cost of our inner peace, personal growth, or overall well-being. Sometimes visiting old friends out of habit or loneliness might seem comforting, yet if those relationships no longer bring you joy, it may be time to reconsider how you invest your time and energy. Retirement is not merely about holding on to the past, it's about crafting a future that fills your heart with purpose and delight. Instead of clinging to relationships that leave you feeling weary, focus on the activities and connections that truly lift your spirits. Invest your energies in hobbies, gatherings, and friendships that make you feel appreciated and invigorated. Let go of any lingering guilt, and remember always that you deserve relationships that inspire, support, and enrich your life. Now, I invite you to share your thoughts. Which part of today's message touched you the most? Have you ever felt burdened by holding on to friendships that no longer serve you? Please share one thing you learned from this conversation and how you plan to use it to brighten your days. Your experiences and reflections are not only important, but can also offer comfort and encouragement to others. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found this message meaningful, I warmly encourage you to like, subscribe, and share it with those who may need a little extra comfort and inspiration. I look forward to gathering with you again in our next conversation. As the wise proverb goes, a gentle word, a kind look, a good-natured smile can work wonders and accomplish miracles. May these words remind you of the beauty in caring for yourself and those around you.